Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Thursday, November 19th, 2020, and we have a pretty important news story out. Georgia's Secretary of State, a Republican, actually says today that the audit has been completed. The essentially counting of all of the ballots in the state of Georgia has been completed. We have roughly 5 million votes cast across all of the candidates on the presidential race, and it has finally come to a close. We are expecting the Republican Secretary of State to confirm the election results, meaning they would certify them. They would be officially published as 100% factual. The Associated Press has in turn called the state of Georgia for the Democratic Party, which is very important to note. The state of Georgia was not called by the Associated Press purely because there was the issue of a recount, there was the issue of auditing, but the Associated Press is now comfortable enough following the audit that this state will go to the Democratic Party. Essentially, they've hand counted all of the ballots, and it has changed absolutely nothing. The Secretary of State is 100% going to give us the results tomorrow that shows us that Joe Biden has officially won the state of Georgia. Now, President Trump has contested this state. I think that it is, I'm updating you guys on the state of Georgia on the presidential election because we are starting to see a number of these certified results start pouring in, and I think it's very good for the American people, very good for democracy for us to actually see how the process is certified, how we have audits done in very close states, and pretty much just solidifying our trust in the American election system, because that is super important. Democracy is one of the best things that we have here in America, and I think that it's just really important that everyone that votes trusts the system. But again, that's obviously not going to be the majority, or not necessarily the majority, but there's going to be a significant portion of the country that still may think that this election was rigged, that still may think that this election had fraudulent votes, and that probably won't go away, even with audits, even with, entire recounts in other states, not just Georgia. Really, there's nothing that's going to solidify everyone in Americans' trust with the election. But I think that this just offers a little bit more transparency and gives people a reassuring feel about the state of Georgia. So not just here, but also across the country. But this is the only state that really has an automatic recount. If you're looking at the election results, some of these states actually have different rules. So in Arizona, it needs to be less than 0.1%, whereas in Georgia, it needs to be less than 0.5%. We don't see any other states decided by less than 0.5 across the country. So it looks as if, besides Arizona, but like I said, different rules in that state. So Georgia is the only state that gives us an automatic recount. Now in 2016, I believe the only state with an automatic recount was, maybe not an automatic recount, it may have had different rules, but Michigan was less than 0.5. I think every other state was outside of that. I think New Hampshire may have been within 0.5, but looking at Georgia, this seems to be the only state in this election. So what do the final results essentially tell us? Well, Joe Biden wins this state with 12,000 more votes than President Trump. President-elect Biden, 2,475,141, 49.51% of the state. President Trump wins 2.462 million with 49.24%. So Joe Biden wins this state. It's over. It has been called. This is the first time, actually, that a Democrat has won the state of Georgia since 1992. If you want to go ahead and take a look back at how long ago that was, I mean, we're going through election cycle after election cycle, but coincidentally, the last presidential candidate on the Democratic side to win Georgia was actually the husband of Secretary Hillary Clinton, who ran in 2016. Obviously, a lot of us know that. 99% of the country knows that, but I thought that it was just very interesting. But let's take a look at 2016 very briefly. When you're looking at the results, there were less votes, significantly less votes in this election. On top of that, Donald Trump won with a majority. This time, Joe Biden won by a plurality. But this is a 6-point swing from where it was just 4 years ago. So that's super, super significant. But like I said, we can go ahead and take a look back. 2012, Mitt Romney absolutely destroyed Barack Obama in this state. We're talking nearly double digits, very significant. 2008, John McCain did worse than 2004, actually, when John Kerry got obliterated. I mean, if Obama got destroyed, John Kerry wasn't even on the ballot in that situation. But John Kerry received 41% of the vote here. But like I said, dating back 1992, Bill Clinton received 43.47% of the vote and won by a sheer margin of 13,000 votes. So extremely, extremely narrow. I believe Joe Biden to date is the candidate. He's received the most votes out of any presidential election candidate in Georgia in United States history. So that's pretty significant. Georgia, overwhelmingly votes for, overwhelmingly increases their turnout from 2016. It's super significant. And while turnout across the country was high, it didn't always favor the Democratic Party, but it definitely did in this state. And looking at the results, I really don't see any type of discussion moving past this point that Donald Trump could be contesting Georgia. I mean, they literally have hand counted all of the votes. It's an audit. There's no difference, so please don't confuse the two. But looking at the state of Georgia and its election results, I think a lot of people should be very confident in how they perform their election, should be very confident with the results that are given to us. Because ahead of this, Joe Biden led Donald Trump by roughly 14,000 votes. It narrowed down to 12,000 just because of a human error, a missed county, but it was singular in its case. And I understand that some people may be skeptical. I mean, how can you misplace 2,000 ballots? But you also have to realize that humans make mistakes. And statewide, there were no significant issues, and I really don't think people should be nitpicking and cherry picking certain events and try to equate that to being national voter fraud, because there really is just no evidence of it. What may seem like a statistical anomaly, you have to realize that there are predominantly minority cities that are going to, of course, report 90-10 in favor of Joe Biden. That makes sense. It makes 100% sense. You would have, if I told you that before the election, you probably would have believed me. But just because it jumps up on the overall vote share graph doesn't mean that it's a rigged election. It just means that the group of people that were expected to vote overwhelmingly for Democrats actually did, and the results were counted slightly later. Every state has their own issues. Georgia was supposed to begin counting. Actually, they did begin counting in October. Florida almost counted all of their election night results on election night. I think we got a call before 12 a.m. But I will say that some of these states also really dropped the ball. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania generally didn't get us that many results really quickly, but I think that Georgia was able to get us results very early. They were able to keep the race. I mean, the race always seemed close, but we knew what was going to happen around the third day through election week, and then it just was ballot drop after ballot drop. And finally, I mean, we knew who won days ago, nearly a week ago, but because of this hand audit, you do have to ask yourself, was something going to change? There's always that speculation, and now it's sort of calmed down. I don't know why my voice sounds so bad right now. I'm not sick, and I don't need a cough drop. Sometimes it's just if I talk too much during the day, then I can't talk at a certain point. So sorry about that. But overall, election's over. Georgia has been called. Georgia's going to Joe Biden. Their election results will be certified likely tomorrow or the day after that. I think that there should be a discussion about Georgia. Absolutely. It's by no means a Democratic stronghold, but I think that this is really good for the Democratic Party. It's going to dispel a lot of those rumors that Donald Trump has really been putting up. A lot of Republicans asked for an audit. It was automatic. It was less than 0.5%, so it was going to happen. But a lot of Republicans were really counting on something to come out of here. Nothing came out. And a lot of these court cases, they're really harming President Trump's legitimacy. We're seeing a lot of his supporters, or sorry, not his supporters, Republicans in Congress start to turn to President-elect Biden, starting to open a discourse. Same thing with Republican governors, Kay Ivey, Charlie Baker, Larry Hogan, Asa Hutchinson. A number of Republicans in the governorships are starting to open up the idea of speaking with President-elect Biden in terms of handling the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think this solidifies our trust in the election process. This helps the American people get through what seems to be the longest election of our lifetimes, and the fact that a candidate with over 70 million votes has still not conceded the election makes it a lot harder for us to move on, makes it a lot harder for us to solidify these election results. And for some supporters, some of his supporters, roughly 88% of Trump voters, according to The Economist, believe that the election was illegitimate in some way, believe that Joe Biden won through an illegitimate fashion. And that is extremely unfortunate, just because of the fact that this is America. We are one of the greatest countries in the world. We have a pretty good electoral process. Some people may argue for or against the Electoral College, but people should be very happy with their the way that we can vote. They should be very happy with our system, the safety, the security of our electoral process, and discrediting it only hurts the American people. It doesn't help really anyone, and at this point, it's just going to be even more hurtful to the President of the United States, given that he's in court case after court case, nothing coming up, audits coming in, paid recounts potentially in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, nothing happening. A lot of it is just a political stunt. A lot of it is just refusing to concede the election results. But at the end of the day, certification once that officially happens tomorrow. And after this audit tonight, there is no real discussion that needs to be said or really discussed following this certification, because once they're certified, it's an absolute certainty. I know some people think that there could be somehow, I mean, this would have to be a very weird situation, which it actually does go to the Supreme Court. It wouldn't have to do with what we're looking at right now. But again, we've seen people jump through hoops for more. On top of that, some people think that Republican legislators could actually do something in the state legislature. But overall, Joe Biden will be inaugurated in January 2021. He will be the next president of the United States. And these certifications, these audits are only proving that even more. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below. Subscribe on the left if you haven't already, and check out the Instagram and Twitter. At the bottom left of the screen, there's also a Discord server for you to go ahead and join. On the screen, there's a video you can watch, and then a playlist for my 2020 election videos post-election. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.